You are not meant to fulfill your parents' expectations and aspirations. You're here on this earth to fulfill your own dreams and do what you want to do, not what your parents want to do. Hi everyone, my name is Elisa, aka Simslayer, and welcome to my channel. We're talking about self-development, self-love, and self-motivation. How to level up and become our best selves in all spheres of life. And if you like this kind of content, then please subscribe. I would be very happy to see you here frequent on my channel. And leave your thoughts in the comments below, as well as leave a like if you like this kind of content. Let's dive into this topic. As you saw from the beginning of the video, this video is about how you can live your own life without having to think of what others think of you the whole time, especially when it comes to your parents or your relatives, because this is something that we all grew up with. We all have some kind of parental wound inside of us where we want to make ourselves be as presentable and as perfect for our parents or our family as possible. And we all fell victim to trying to please our parents and trying to satisfy their expectations of us. And while it's very common, it's pretty toxic for our own personality and our own development. Because as we grew up, we had this no knowledge of our parents and what they want from us, and we always try to play as this character and play this character in their world instead of trying to figure out what we want. And it's very common, so let's try to dissect what actually creates this fake image of us and fake aspirations that we have, and how we can deal with it and counteract this whole situation that we have. So the first problem, and the very obvious problem, is that we do not know what we want. We do not figure out throughout life what we want to become one day or what we want to create. What are our passions? What are our strengths? And how can we use them to create something good, to have a good cause in this world? This is something that each child and each young person has to figure out by themselves or with the support of their parents or relatives. But if your parents were neglectful of this and they were just trying to set their expectations onto you, onto your personality, despite having completely different strengths and weaknesses, you just neglect yourself. You try to shed your own skin and try to mold into their favorite child, into what they dream of. But the world has changed. We are not meant to step into our parents' footsteps anymore. This may have been the case 30, 40, 50 years ago, when parents could just give their child all their belongings and they can succeed with it no matter what, because they learned this from a very young age and they don't have options to, educate themselves or gain knowledge or skills by themselves. But nowadays, we have the World Wide Web, okay? We have the internet. We have social media. We have so many sites. We have so many options to gain knowledge, to gain skills, to gain networking. So we have all these opportunities that our parents, that our relatives, our whole family, everyone who grew up 10 years before us, they did not have this capacity, this amount of knowledge, skills, and opportunities that we have. So why not move with the world, move with this evolution of technology and the progress of it, and use it for our benefit, for our advantage? That's something so many of our parents just forget. And this is precisely where we're coming onto the second problem, which is trying to fit into a world that no longer exists. So it's not only a mind game, it's not only trying to reach expectations that no longer exist, it's actually just living and acting as if you're living in 1990 or something. You're not in the 90s anymore. Even if you like the dress, the style, that's fine. You can try to embody the style as much as you want, as long as you do not embody the mindset and the work spirit and the overall lifestyle of the 90s, because that's just not realistic anymore. There is such a huge movement online that goes from the digital space to the analog space. So people are trying to communicate over telephones more. They're listening to music over CD players or maybe cassettes. So anything that does not have anything to do with Spotify or digital services, because people try to reject modernity and embrace tradition. I know it's a whole meme out there, like reject modernity, embrace tradition, with like two separate styles, for example. But yeah, that's precisely what I mean. So you're trying to live in a world that was created in the past and does not really function today. Because as much as you want to embrace the analog lifestyle, your whole communication paths are all digital. Whenever you want to connect with someone, whether it's online or in real life, before you can meet up with them, you usually text your friend or your parents or whoever you're trying to meet up with to arrange a meeting in real life. So you move from the digital space to the analog space. Yeah. And those expectations that our parents and our families set upon us create this whole image that we are still living in the past, but we are not. And as much as we love to argue with our parents, let me tell you this, guys, don't argue with your parents too much. Just love them, embrace them as the person they are, because of course you might want to let them see the world as it is right now, and you might want them to see your perspective and agree with you and just be, you know, more like you. But that's not possible. As you get older, that's the same case with you guys and with me as well. As we get older, we are set in our routines, in our mannerisms, in our mindset, and our beliefs. We do not like to argue against us. So if you are the person that likes to argue with your parents about politics, about, you know, their lifestyle, and trying to teach them how to use their phone more or any kind of social media sites, Facebook, whatever, and they are not understanding of it, and they're just like, oh, it's so complicated, this whole digital thing just sucks, like I will never understand it. And you're like, this is the easiest thing ever. We've been using Facebook since we're 10 years old. How can you not understand this? Are you so old-fashioned and whatever? So you're trying to argue against them, but this is not going to work. Just let them be, accept them as they are, and this actually goes for every person out there. You should never try to change a person. I know you might think it's for the better if they are more, you know, empathetic, if they get a different point of view to life because your point of view is so much better for people or for animals. But this just, it fights back. It counteracts your actual like the reason why you're doing this. You're doing this from a good heart. You have a good intention behind it, but people do not see it as a good intention. They see it as a personal attack against their own beliefs and their own values. It will bring you so much peace, tranquility in your life, and you will be able to focus on yourself and your own goals and expectations more. The third point that I want to talk about is actually not too much about our parents and our families, but more about how to find our own weaknesses and strengths. And this is something that many of us, if we were the type to follow our parents' rules and our parents' expectations, we neglect this part a lot because we focus more on pleasing others. So we are the people pleasers throughout life instead of focusing on what we want and what we can do and what we can't do. And this is how we can figure it out. How you do it is simply by observing, experimenting, and experiencing. So the first step is observing, and it's observing what you're interested in, knowing what your interests are and how you can, you know, take part in those interests. Whether it be theater, maybe dancing, maybe it's boxing, whatever it is. It might just start out as a hobby, and that's where you turn it into the experiencing part. So you experience the interest that you observed, and afterwards you get the experience from it. And this is how you learn what you like, what you dislike. If you do not have the opportunity to try it out, maybe just learn it by yourself. Like if you like sewing, but you don't have the opportunity to take a class somewhere or go to a boutique and learn it somewhere, then just learn it yourself. DIY things and figure out whether this is something that you like, whether it's something you like doing, maybe even as a full-time hobby, who knows? This is something you can learn anywhere in life. So many people are only starting to figure it out at the age of 30, 35, maybe even 40. And this is where most businesses are created. So this just shows that there's no age restriction or age limit to obtaining those skills about yourself. And as you have experimented with what you like and what you dislike, you have the experience that you obtain from it. And this is what you can turn into knowledge and skills. So if you train this experience that you gain and become better and better at what you're doing and what you like doing, you can one day turn this into like transferable skills in your CV, for example, or just create a whole side hustle, a business from it. Everything's possible, because when there is someone out there doing what you only dream of doing, it's possible. If you want to be a yacht owner and you see someone owning a yacht, then you know, okay, one day it might be possible for me as well. It might just be a bit difficult because that needs a whole lot of money, but you know, you get the whole mindset thing about this. So if there's someone out there having the things you wish for, it's possible, and it's not delusional. The difference is just that you have to make it possible. Don't stay delusional. Don't stay at home, sit on your butt all day, not do anything for it, and expect the whole world to fall on your feet, because that's not how manifestation or how anything actually happens. This is what so many people do wrong with dating as well. But that's a whole other video that we are going to dig into. Today's video is only about the set expectations from our parents. So let's focus on that part. And this just further proves my point that we have to stop believing the same things our parents believe. We need to go with the flow, go with the times, not like our parents did, because they are set in their ways. We need to be flexible. We need to move with the whole progress of the world, with the digitalization, with anything that is evolving around us. We have to adapt soon. We have to adapt fast. And that's a skill that only our generation, like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I don't know what they're called, but you know, all the generations that were born, I guess, after the 2000s or in the 2000s, we learned this so fast because we grew up with technology progressing around us. Our parents did not, especially if they came from a Soviet state, because my parents actually, they are from Ukraine, and I was born there, but I moved here when I was like very, very young. So I did not expect digitalization to overthrow me the way it overthrew my parents. Basically, they came from a state that was like shattered after Soviet fall, and they didn't see technology evolve and progress as fast as we did in more civilized countries. Well, not civilized, but in countries where technology is introduced faster and progressed faster, because that's something my parents did not see in their childhood, but we did. So we can adapt fast. We can adapt so fast that they do not understand it. And that is a skill we have to work on as well. So as you're adapting to the surroundings around you and to all these new regulations, maybe new opportunities, you can use it to your own benefits. So you see, okay, digital marketing is gaining in relevance. What skills can I learn to get into that field? Just take like some of the things you're interested in and take the skills that you need in order to get in those fields and adapt to them. Learn the skills, learn the job, get the job, and live the life you want. Nobody can take this away from you. Nobody can take your skills or your knowledge away from you. Don't ever forget that. The only person that can set any restrictions or limitations to you, your imagination, or your goals is yourself. Not your parents, not your partner, not your friends, nobody. You're the only person that can set your own boundaries, your own goals, and what limits you have. But you should not put limits to yourself. You should think big, you should dream endlessly, and fulfill those dreams and desires by working with them, working towards them, and not letting yourself down, and not ever doubting yourself. There's no plan B. Just think plan A or nothing. Failure is not an option, and success is your main goal and your mindset. Success is not a path, an optional path that you get. Success is your mindset. I really hope you like this video. If you do, then please leave a thumbs up and your thoughts in the comments below. And I hope to see you next time.